So what's been happening on the grind in I think in the last 2 weeks? Maybe we spoke like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. What's been going on?
Weeks ago.
Anything new?
Yeah.
Yeah, always new stuff. Hey,
Yeah,
There's always new stuff.
Like a whole lot of music has been dropped since then. So we got 3 weeks ago, 3 new songs, 3 new music videos.
3 new videos.
And like we've got a lot of hype building, industry hype. I would say not really like fan hype yet, but there's a lot of like industry talk going on. Like people, like labels and
slowly, like momentum's building behind the scenes. Like that's always like a reassurance as well. Like even if the numbers and the fans aren't like drastically taking leaps, like the connections we're making and the people are saying the right things. So that's kind of like a nice thing, momentum. That's what we've been kind of recently seeing, just kind of getting in touch with a lot more important people. Like it's funny how it works as well, because like I literally remember like a few months ago, you're literally like, man, like how the hell can we get in touch with that person? And then like manifesting it and just putting in the work, all of a sudden like you find yourself, you're on a Skype call with that person, it's just normal, and you're just like, wait, what the hell? Like we're doing that, and now it seems like nothing. So you can see how that mentality of what it is the mentality of not like staying on something when you achieve it. Like some people can get caught up on like they finally get to talk to that person and they're just like they don't stay present with moving forward. They kind of linger in the past of that achievement. So I feel like that's like a big thing that like at least that's what I've been realizing. Sure. Just like literally we achieve something and it's gone, done.
Yeah.
Growth mindset.
Like that's why we've done, and that's why
it's like just a hunger you
can't
never
feel. Stopping, man.
And it's always like right now, like our big focus now is just putting out loads of content on like different platforms and just really reaching out, because we're in this classic stitch up where it's like we've got all the ability, all the tracks, but we've got no exposure, no visibility, and it's like to the point where it's kind of getting a bit like, I don't know, like it's like it feels like we have to push extra hard to get that visibility that like someone else would get doing the same amount of work. I don't know.
What is your plan to kind of go internal and blow up in Australia, or is your plan to like bridge over to America somehow and like connect, or UK, or maybe probably more likely America, I imagine.
Like
if you're going to do.
And look, it's not as if there's. At the end of the day, whatever happens. Like obviously, it's not like we. But like, yes, we would prefer. I feel like that's something. Yeah, like we've been discussing over the past couple months. We've been talking with a few people, and it seems like our best option now is to bypass the whole Australian grind and the whole internal scene right now, and straight to the international waters. It's definitely something we've really taken on board.
Yeah, it kind of feels like we have no other choice at this point.
100%. It feels emergency now.
Yeah, like because we've been doing this. We've been I'll always be representing Australia. We have been representing Australia, and we've been essentially doing the most in Australia. We know the scene, like we can name the scene on our hands. You know what I mean? We know every single hip hop artist, and we're doing the most in terms of releasing music, distributing music, content. Just really trying to be the biggest artist out. And like Australia's response is pretty low. Like no one's really, like it's gotten to the point where we feel like Australia is not going to back us until we are actually internationally recognized.
Yeah.
And like I understand that, because what we're doing is so unique, and no Australian has ever done what I'm doing. And it comes down to that classic saying, like everyone doesn't like the new thing until everyone loves the new thing. And like it's the same thing what happened with Facebook. Like when Facebook first came out, everyone was like, what the fuck's this? Until it started blowing up properly. That's when people were like, oh man, you gotta get on Facebook. I'm kind of like Facebook in like 2010, and Australia is not gonna catch on, and they might, but just judging it at where we're at now, you only can really judge shit where you're at the point in time. Just judging it, it's like, we're on 16 songs in 16 weeks with a music video. No Australian has even done 4 songs in a row with a music video.
The content, the quality,
and the songs are great.
They're hits as well.
And it's not just us, like, you know, believing in ourselves so much to say they're great. It's like there's 400 views on a song, and then like everyone who views it is like, whoa, this is amazing. You know what I mean? It's like comes down to the fact that our sample size is only so small.
Yeah.
Like we can say, oh, maybe it's the music, maybe it's that, but then again, there's only 500 views on the last release. So how can we really? There's 500 views with like 30 comments and like 70 likes or whatever it is. It's like, so the music's there. It's just the visibility. No one's backing us, and no one even knows we're there.
Yeah.
Like it's a classic. It's a pretty. It's like, you know, it's perspective as well. Like I'm not saying this is like unfair. Like I don't.
No,
it's not unfair.
No, this is the path we're on.
Yeah.
We've chosen this path. We understand it. It's just like all this is an internal mental battle.
Yeah.
This is just the mental game. This is literally the grind that like the independent artist has to go through, and that's all it is like seriously independent. This is that true ground up, and it's just the mental like thing, because you can get stuck in your head and you're like, I question it like day in day out. I'm just like, I have this battle in my head where I just literally think there's like a group of people like trying to not allow this to blow up.
So my question is like
honestly,
do you keep going the way you're going right now, or do you change your strategy?
You gotta move. You gotta move different.
Yeah, you gotta move different. Always, constantly refining.
So like,
but always keeping the same work ethic and vision. But it's just the way you move.
Yeah, you gotta move
different constantly. That's like anything in business. You know what I mean? You're like if you're running an advert, you know, a test advert to see if this product's gonna react well in this certain area, and it's showing shitty results. You're not gonna keep pouring your fucking money and investments into that, right? You're gonna be like, this doesn't work. We gotta change fucking strategy. We gotta change ideas, change marketing concepts. You have to always be changing.
What do you think hip hop means to Australian people? What do you think Australian hip hop means to Australian people?
That's the thing. Australian hip hop. It's like Australian hip hop is so not Australian hip hop at the same time. Like by that I mean like Australian hip hop is like, so imagine there's like a checklist, like you got to be this, you got to be that, you got to be this. As being Australian isn't even one of the criteria to that. You know what I mean? Like the fact that I'm Australian and I'm rapping doesn't mean I'm Australian hip hop. So like it's so Australian hip hop is such a thing in itself that is like, I don't know. So it's like a niche genre, and
it's like a niche genre in its entirety that is only like kind of supported and followed by a niche group of individuals.
Because I got to be real. If I think of Australian hip hop, I think of Hilltop Hoods, Bliss and Esso, Draft, and 360. They're probably like the only, and then Jaycee. They're like the only 5 Australian hip hop artists I know. To be real with you.
And this is just how it like this is. All this is a cultural thing. Like this is just new to the culture, and like that's just how it has been. Like that predominant, that strong Aussie accent. It's, I don't know. It's just kind of how it is.
It's just a new thing. It's coming in.
Because they have that kind of like, they back those people. Like those people represent people. And then in America, it's like a lot of it's hood, a lot of it's gangster.
Yeah.
But then there's like, you guys are in this like new wave, and I feel like to break through in Australia, you're going to represent something for some Australians. So it's almost like, what is it that you're representing if you're going to do the Australia breakthrough?
Yeah. I was watching a podcast from, I can't remember who it was. It was one of the well-known music managers in Australia right now. And the way he kind of like pulled the analogy was really beautiful. And they were talking about how like this coming generation is like the first, or this, like the first, second generation of like immigrants or whatever it is. Like actually if we're talking time span of Australian immigration and culture. So like their actual like scientific analogy for why this is happening is like only now are they starting to see like the second generation of like of immigrants who actually were born in Australia with immigrant parents are now bringing that international culture but are Australian. So it's kind of like that's what's really breaking it now, and that's why you're seeing a lot of cultured artists coming through now. and they're all listening to international sounds. So it's like it's bringing that into Australian culture. All it takes is for that time, it's like a bubble. Like you look at it, it's like literally, it's like a housing bubble. We're just waiting for the bubble to pop, and it's like it's only building right now. So it's just a matter of time. It just takes.
But the beauty about the good thing about
yeah.
like the international, like just not even caring about pushing it in Australia is that international waters don't see me as an Australian hip hop artist. They just go, "This is dope." Who the fuck's this guy? And then they hear I'm Australian and they're like, "Oh, that's even cooler."
Adds value.
So that's the beauty of going international straight out the bat. It's like, and everyone knows Australia will follow if you're popping in America or popping in the UK. Australia's just gonna follow because you're Australian. So that's why, like, you know, there was a time like last year we were purely pushing Australia, but now our focus is more international.
Definitely changed it over. Like the focus and the market.
With my type of music as well, it's just the way to go. Like,
Universal.
Because
100%. It's global appeal.
Yeah.
You never go look at that Aussie rapper go. Like when you listen to your shit, it's like
and that's the thing. It's like a lot of people wouldn't even put me in that category anyway in the first place.
Yeah.
Like,
it's gonna have global appeal, and that's why we're reaching out to that now. You know, we're looking into how can we tap into the African market, how can we tap into the Middle Eastern market, how can we tap into Europe, the US, Southeast Asia. It's everywhere. This is a global thing, and that's obviously been the vision since day one. So it only makes sense to actually start going for that now.
Well, you're on the cusp of this thing and this the phone, and this is like this is the most dynamic tool we have.
100%.
So when you're like fresh because you've got a small in-house team rather than a big slow moving
huge
team that can't react to anything.
It's crazy. Man.
It's nuts.
You can do
shit
so much.
That's what Gary Vee was saying. He's like, you got this, you got a business. Like he's just
that phone is
dude. Like these fucking.
Hey.
What are your goals?
Like in
short term,
or
like
for the next 6 months.
6 or 12? 6 to 12?
So break out in America.
Yeah, big time.
What does that look like?
And the Middle East.
Yeah, I want
to break out everywhere.
Break out internationally.
Just break out internationally.
I got a big focus. I personally have a fucking attachment to the Middle East right now.
How do you do it?
How do we do that? There's so many ways, and it's not like there's one that you could be like, that's gonna do it. What it's gonna take is coming up with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different ideas of what theoretically could do it, and applying that onto a day-to-day basis until it happens.
A way that would be like ideally probably, would probably get you the best results though, in my opinion at least, would be all these huge Middle Eastern influences, and just, it would probably cost money because no one wants to share shit for free when you have 1 million followers.
Yeah, there's strong strategies for this to happen as well, obviously.
And paying them.
Getting an international collab would be another instant step up. A playlist, getting put on a strong international playlist would be instant. Like, Jay's been put on a lot of Spotify editorial playlists in Australia, and that does very well. But, we want that international. Jay gets put on an American, playlist, that's going to do it as well. So, someone seeing it, an influencer, another artist, a celebrity who literally finds Jaycee's music and is just like, holy shit, this guy's amazing. Shout out. On top of that, then it's just reaching out and fucking pushing it. There's so many different ways. But, obviously some are going to have a bigger, response than others. But like I said, it's applying every single one of them on a day-to-day basis.
I think the most important thing is to just keep going, keep
100%.
going consistent and strong.
That's all it is.
Because people have to listen eventually.
They will.
You can't.
And you won't even realize that you're just getting better when you do that.
Yeah.
At the time you just...
people don't, you're putting in the extra, you're putting in the 20,000 hours at the end of it.
That's what I was thinking, 10,000 hours. The whole time we're having this conversation, I was just 10,000 hours, 10,000 hours, 10,000 hours. Hit the 10,000 and then you're going to be global.
Keep going, man.
You just keep going and you have to keep bettering yourself. Even just listening to my older music and comparing it now, in my head I've just been keep going consistently, just making hits. But you can hear because it's recorded, it's a timestamp. You can clearly hear the improvement in the
it's
sound.
Crazy, because I remember going back to that mindset. When we were listening to the modern day mixtape, literally when I flew over here at the start of the year and Jay came and showed Jed and I the modern day mixtape, we're in here and we're going, oh my fucking god, first thing I've heard. Like these are hits. That mindset has never changed, but like you said, now you can actually go back and you're like, oh wait a minute, like he was like that was a bit dodgy on the mixing side there. Like that was a bit like you see the improvement. It's crazy. So like having that in there, bearing that in mind, now it's like the shit you're producing now, a year from there, but it's the loophole because you're always in the same mindset. That's what Russ said. He's like I never didn't think I was making hits. It's just now I'm looking back and like, yeah, they sucked. Like,
that's weird though.
It's such a crazy mindset, but that's the mindset you need. That's the mindset.
Well, it's just that kind of humble mindset as well.
Yeah.
Like you gotta be really confident in yourself, but you also gotta be like humble and be like, you know, I'm probably not the best in the world.
Yeah. You're just calling out. I'm way better than you, Kanye.
Yeah.
Like, that you can't. Yeah, there's levels to it. But yeah.
Give me one more thing. What's been going on in this house lately?
In terms of
like the people occupying it.
Business or like personal? Like everything?
Like everything.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a bit interesting. There's been a lot of different energies coming in and out of the household. That's kind of been like, but that's obviously life. But like it's been a little weird. Like it's been like throwing me off a little bit. It's been a bit interesting.
Go on.
But it's there's nothing. So you said, go on, explain more. No, I don't know. The business structure, like relationships within the household of people, like everything's just obviously constantly fluctuating. So it's like you're trying to stay to your routine, but the energy around you's always altering. So it's really, you just gotta really, really be strong with yourself. At least for me, that's what.
There's been a lot of curveballs going on. Like even with myself, like my knees a bit. Well, not my knees, just my legs in general have been cooking it. And it's just been like fucking like a bit of like a mind game for me, just trying to like, that's why I got a standing desk now. Just trying to like, I'm like in a rehabilitation stage with like my leg muscles, which is like cool because like I'm gonna heal myself. But just things like that, like nothing like what's the word I'm thinking, like nothing's guaranteed, you know, like you can't just think because something's how it is today, it's gonna be like that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of what the house has kind of been,
really been.
Well, the house has just always been like that in general, but like, lately, like some like, you know, lately it's just testing us more to that level of just fucking, nothing's guaranteed, you know what I mean? Like, you even usually moving in like a few months ago, like we got, you could say like, Kristen coming in and out of the house now a lot is another energy that's in the house. We got the constant team. Shanika's here like every other day now, like.
Yeah.
You know, like mom and dad had like got their relationship they're working on. It's like it's just a constant up and down of just like it's just a habitat, man.
You just gotta. It's a grind. That's all it is. Like, nothing is ever an excuse. That's the thing. Like this is just the game of life and like the grind. It's to say everyone's got their own thing. You just gotta stay strong. All it is about maintaining your mental strength. That's really what it comes down to. Like physical health and mental strength. And just putting it in the practice, like within yourself, it just has to be done. Otherwise, you can slip away real quickly. You can really slip out of that mindset. So it's really making.
It's a test. It's cool to slip out. Like for me, like I always know the underlining outcome for me. Like I've never once just been like, you know, I'm not gonna follow through with this. I'm not gonna be the biggest. Like the best I can at this craft, or like I've never once been like let's just pull the pin, you know what I mean? But like I've slipped out in and out of how like applied I am to it, like how fucking on the ball I am with it. Like even the other week I just wanted to fucking stay in bed all day, like because my legs and I just couldn't be fucked. I was just like, man, like fuck it, like I'm dropping all these hits. Like, it's on you guys to listen. Like, I'm sure.
Cozy in the bed.
Like,
Kristen by his side. These fuckers, man, I get worried they're in there too long. Cause see, now that he's saying this, I've been thinking this in there, man. I knew it. I fucking knew it. I mean,
there's days where I'm
they're getting complacent in there. I'm fucking NGK's here.
Like, I know that underlying goal. Like, I always know I'm not gonna, you know, let something like that just like throw me off completely. Like I know what it's about. I've never stopped like creating, you know what I mean? And that's like literally my mind just went blank, which I don't think is possible at this point in my life.
into a mental psychosis. Like, you know, the Simpsons episode, like his brain just turned into a monkey clapping
Yeah,
like
it's like, I just forget how to use all the software and everything.
Yeah, that's the
Nah, but like, yeah, it's definitely a game, and I feel like what doesn't kill you kind of makes you stronger.
100%.
Like, the fact that I was having those thoughts last week, now I'm back stronger than ever. Because now I'm like, you know what, like, feeling sorry for yourself isn't going to get you anywhere. Like, you need to go out, do your stretches, your squats, get in the studio and make the biggest hit and, like, prove to these people, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's a bit of a transition stage, like, it takes the negative thoughts to kind of be like, wait a minute, like the negative,
reverse the energy,
and then the reversing
Yeah.
period kind of takes, maybe for me at least, it takes like maybe a couple days, and then I figure it out, and I'm like, you know what, this is the fuel to go in there and make that fucking hit, you know what I mean, and like, you know, fix my shit up, like my legs and stuff, like, it's a weird sort of.
It's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting.
And I feel like that's kind of, I feel like that is what makes kind of, you know, like, an optimistic person is how they can flip the negative like that. Like, a lot of people just be kind of stuck in that shit for like years on end, and it takes they can't get out of it, or if they do, it takes so much.
That shit's scary.
Because like, I know how it feels to, like, I can, and because I can get out of it now, I can relate better to it. But like, being stuck in that is just a deadly place. Like that, like, I've never been like super deep, you know, but like I've been deep enough to know.
You can picture it, like, you can see how people who aren't like as emotionally intelligent and self-aware enough can literally stay in that and even go deeper. Like, that's like, when you're saying that, that's scary. It's like, fuck, like, yeah, like I said, like, when you hit these ruts, they never last longer than a week or two. Like, 2 weeks is pushing it. Like, for me, like, I've had a few experiences in the past like year where it's been like, you know, stuck in there. It's a week, it's a two. You're always like, I just don't understand how you, like, yeah, you always just got to be
you always kind of work yourself up,
converting everything and like looking at the better and like the positivity out of it. What's the lesson that you're feeling right now?
I think it comes down to we're really conditioned by this point. Like, we put up the right conditioning. Like, even when I was feeling sorry for myself like a week or two ago, like, I could catch my ego being sorry for myself, and then I was just like, I'm just gonna let this carry on a bit longer, even though I know how ridiculous it is. You know what I mean?
Totally relate to that.
Yeah,
See, that's the power of like understanding the ego.
Yeah.
This is the power of, this is literally what we're taught. Some people wouldn't even be able to comprehend what we're saying right now. That's the thing. Like, that's why I'm so grateful for like being able to understand now. Is that emotional intelligence, and it's like
I'm just gonna let.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like,
I recognize.
I know this is ridiculous, but I'm just like,
because it's what is it? The Eckhart Tolle talks about it, like the emotional pain that an ego attaches to. It's like when, like, you know, when you're upset after a breakup, like you reminisce because you feel that pain. It's like, if you can recognize your ego's feeling it, you can actually bathe in it for a day, and then choose to snap out of it.
Exactly.
Like, it's actually quite powerful shit.
And that's it.
Controlling the ego. And
then I feel like, you know, not being aware of that's how you can get deep. Like, you just you think that is you.
That's when it's when you loophole it.
And then like, it just makes you stronger. Like, now I just like, since like, you know, like, that's constantly going up and down. Like, I'm constantly going through moments like that. But like, even just since like the last couple of weeks, like, I've just been like, fuck it. Like, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like, in terms of like, who gives a fuck about not like it. If I was to do it and nothing happened, like, who's actually gonna be like, haha, like, you failed at this, or like, who actually is that person doing that? Like, there isn't anyone.
Some fucker.
Like, and if it is a person, it's like not even person.
He's just fucked up.
Some jackass on the side,
and they're not even doing that because it's like, Jaycee's like a fuckhead. It's like, they're just sad about like their situation. Like, it's not even.
Honestly, that's it. So it's just like, moral of it is just, and like, moral of it is literally just yourself, like, just maintaining yourself and learning consistently, looking at like evaluating everything you're feeling and being truthful to yourself. That is the only way you can always come out on top of all these, because like, this shit's inevitable. Everyone's experiencing this. That's what we talk about. Like, the people, the most highly tapped in, evolved people and successful people have just trained themselves and gone through this for years and years, to the where they're at the extent where all these little things are just snappy for them. They're like, oh yeah, out of that, I can handle that.
You got to consume the right content and consume
All
like
about
consume
consumption.
like the right environment. Like you got to condition yourself.
Yeah. Practice.
Yeah.
It's all practice.
I got one more question. What the fuck happened to this couch?
It's been fucked for a long
Yeah,
time.
you like I fucking. This has been fucked for like as long as I can even
Yeah, I
remember.
didn't even know what happened to it. To be honest, I think it's just an old ass couch.
It's like strapped up. This is like the 50th piece of tape that's been on here. This is the blue couch though.
This has been
This is where
this
the-
has been passed down from family to family.
That's an actually.
Like not my like
No.
family like different families. Not my family.
It's been passed down from multiple humans to other humans through garage sale.
Like this couch is old and fucking torn, man. Like, and I don't think like I don't know how we got it in here because I don't think mathematically it can fit through that door. Like, and it's kind of just in here now.
What about these rusty old guitars?
I still got my first guitar there as
Are they for like show now? You reckon? Do you reckon they're more?
I still play them. This one's done all the recordings you've ever heard.
that's okay.
This one's like a strummer. Like that's my first guitar. I don't play that anymore. That could probably, and this is just junk. But
Pete the OG mixtape, modern day mixtape.
Modern Day Mixtape and The Ticket.
That's an old school single.
Where there's only like
Oh,
6
yeah.
copies of those made. The Ticket mixtape.
Text Gary V, see if he wants one.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
What
they
up, Gary?
mixtape.
Man, you want one of these?
With bonus track time to go on that. Hey.
Oh yeah, that's right. Bonus track on there.
And this is where the beats are made.
Yeah.
So,
That's how the beats made.
it's made.
Fuck yeah.